And we can only confidently assure Nigerians that we are going to redouble our efforts to ensure that we move from the level, the promising level that we are, to the next level. And the structures are being put in place as I speak to ensure we achieve that. But I thought, just as the chairman of the press corps has said, it's been a while, so we can rub minds and fill in the gaps. So we will take questions as much as we welcome all sorts of questions. We do not want to dwell so much on what has passed. And what has passed is the election. Not that we're not going to answer a question on the election, but we should not waste all the time on an election that has been lost and won. Our intention is to talk more on, okay, now you have won, so what next? And I'm sure there are a lot of questions around that. I'm just calling our attention to that so that we achieve, the objective of moving forward instead of stagnating or going backward. And then you leave that to the zones to decide who they want. Well, that's also an option. There is something that says that has to be what should happen. It's one of the several options. And you would also know that before you arrive at an individual, you must have considered what zone it comes from. So the party, in its own judgment, believe we would not only zone, we will go as far as identifying who from a particular zone is fit and proper as the Senate President. And you should know that from every zone of this country, we have ranking members in the National Assembly who are all qualified, eminently qualified to be Senate President. But there's only one vacancy to be filled. You can't have two Senate Presidents. So in this case, considering other factors, the party, and when I say the party, I'm not just referring to NWC, because there was a wide consultation across the country, the party leaders, governors, and Mr. President. So this is not just something coming from the chairman, Adam Oshomole, or NWC. It's the position of the ruling party. So the idea of taking the thing to the zone is an option, which we have also considered before now arriving at a particular individual from the Northeast. It was only after we have zoned that position to the Northeast. Now, to the second question, the suspension of Marafa by Zamfara APC. It's within the power of the party executive at the ward level, if they have good reason to initiate punitive measure against a member that they consider to have flouted the rules of the party. So in this case, we don't have all the facts, because it has not been brought to NWC, and they really don't need to come as far as this table at the ward level before they can take that decision. But you can also be sure that whoever that has happened to has the window to seek redress. So we are just watching. All we are interested in is to be sure that all the parties comply with the rules. Once they stay within the limit of what the Constitution stipulates, we are comfortable with it. And the question regarding the statement made by the national chairman that APC will dominate all the positions in the National Assembly. It was not a threat. That is democracy. Let me explain clearly, because I have listened to PDP react to this, and in their usual style, they exhibited gross ignorance. What we practice in Nigeria is called the presidential system of government. And in a presidential system of government, it is winners take all. Once you win, you take whatever you want. There's no room for power sharing. You don't need it, because we don't need them to run this government. We have enough number to run this government. And in any case, when we were campaigning, we never told Nigerians that we were going to share power with any other party. We told them, please entrust power on us fully. And as you have seen that in the last 4 years, we have made good use of it. We would even make better use of it in the next 4 years. And Nigerians have graciously assented to that. It would be a betrayal of that trust to go ahead and start sharing power with a party, particularly the PDP, that has been rejected by Nigerians. And let me also say clearly, I understand where that question is coming from. We are smarting from the experience of the last 4 years. Precisely what happened in 2015, when some traitors within the APC fold sold our birthright to an opposition party. And some people now consider that to be the new normal. It is not. In fact, that action was not democratic. It was treachery. And we thank God also, as this party has noted, that Nigerians punished the people that were involved. They have been rejected. Many of them are now on compulsory retirement from politics. That is the verdict of the people of this country. For those who dare compromise basic democratic principles, which says that in a presidential system of government, when you have the majority, you have the trust of the people to form a government without conceding anything to the people they have rejected. If they had wanted PDP, they would have voted for PDP. And now let me make it clear. I'm taking that along with the question that followed relating to the issue of this same power sharing at the, in the National Assembly. There is nothing as such. If you know, or just take a cue from what happened in advanced democracies, we pattern our presidential system of government after the United States of America. When last did you see them go to the floor to elect Senate president? In their own case, the Speaker. Any party that has the majority automatically has the Speaker. If you remember, Pelosi was the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. Immediately the Republicans got majority, she became the minority leader. It is automatic, except in a situation where you have traitors, people who don't have any commitment to values, whose only interest is to fester their own personal desires. She reverted and became the minority leader of the House of Representatives. And in the last election, when Democrats in America became the majority, she reverted back and became the Speaker. So what you had in the last nearly 1 year, since those traitors defected or ran back to where they truly belong, was an aberration. It was not democratic. It's an expression of lack of value. It is a commitment to personal aggrandizement, not a commitment to national interest. So we should not now think that has become the new normal. It isn't. And if we truly want to practice democracy, we should consign such to the dustbin of history. We should never allow that to repeat itself. And let me make it clear that when you belong to APC, because the problem we have had with party politics in this country has been the fact that no ideology drives any political party. But APC is daring to be different. And what that means is we are progressives. And the worldview of progressives include the ideology that speaks to those values that are very important to the common people. That's why you see most of the policies of this government, APC government, has been pro-poor policies. All the social investment programs were patterned along what you have when you share the worldview of progressives. So that is the ideology that drives this party. And within that, you also must know that party discipline is collateral to party supremacy. So when you begin to have interest, other than the collective interest of the party that presented you for an election, then you are voluntarily excusing yourself from the fold of that political party. So what you do or you expect from any member who has any interest in anything is to work within the party structure to ensure he achieves his interest. But he may not succeed if that interest is at variance with the worldview that this party shares. So, as we go to the next Senate, how it is done, and that is the way it will be done. You have principal officers. All the principal officers are determined by simple majority. And because Nigerians have given us more than what we had even in the outgoing dispensation, we have enough to elect all our officers. We don't need a single vote from PDP. And in any case, we don't actually emphasize any election on that day, because we are going to present our members to occupy these positions as a collective position of the party. And all our members have very experienced politicians who understand what this means. So when they get to the floor, they are going to read out the names. And if the PDP so desire, they can bring a candidate up and follow that candidate with the number they have got. So it will be an exercise in futility for PDP to nurse the ambition to share for what Nigerians have taken from them. There are positions for minority parties. PDP will not contest those positions with the minority parties. APC will not contest those positions with the minority parties. It belongs to them. An APC member will not seek to be the minority leader of the House. Just as it would be unwise for a PDP member or any other party for that matter to seek to be the majority leader in the House. And that starts from the Senate president. And the reference to Senator Ali Ndume, who has come out to say he wants to contest, is merely expressing his fundamental rights. But those rights are also taken care of that day you have subscribed to a political party, in this case APC. The day he has subscribed to be a member of APC, he has signed off to abide by the position of the party. And we take what has happened in the last 24 hours as an expression of how badly the news hit him. He's a human being. But we are also conscious of the fact that Senator Ali Ndume is a respected member of APC, is a leader in this party, and we know he knows the right thing to do, and on both sides, right things will be done. And that also includes any other person who has such grievances. There will be room. What if you've been following the way this party has come on in the last few months, since this new NWC takes off, I mean, about 6-7 months now, you will see that members are allowed to ventilate whatever their views are. Because that is democracy. So whatever decision we take at the end of the day will be after you have been given ample opportunity to exercise your right. So, but at the end of the day, party supremacy steps in. And then the party also must be conscious not to be found wanting, not to be seen to be breaking its own rules. So that's why we have been consistent in what we do. And we have been strict in the application of whatever actions we take to ensure that we can back it up with the position and what the constitution of the party stipulates. So these are basic issues. On the refusal of INEC to issue certificate of return to Governor Okorocha of Imo State, who was announced as the winner of the senatorial ticket of his zone. This party cannot take any action. Don't forget that Governor Okorocha is on suspension. So as far as this party is concerned, that situation remains. So there's no way we can say somebody is on suspension and then we still go ahead and start. In any case, he also has not even come forward to say, this is the problem I have, because he also realizes it's on suspension. So until that is vacated, before the party can now step in and say we have a full member who has issues that we need to resolve. So that is what that is.
Position of handling on the National Assembly, considering that they are supposed to get their own president. That's one. Then two, we are concentrating only on the leadership of the House.
And the party's candidates also speaking. My name is like similar to what happened in 2015. Now, where we have disenchanted members connived with a PDP
size, just to fulfill all the righteousness. So that's what I'm referring to. We don't emphasize a situation where two APC senators will stand as candidates for a position. That will only happen if this party has not done its homework well. That is the essence of the majority that we have. When you now talk of separation of power, what it means is that the executive cannot make laws. It is only the National Assembly that can do so. And the National Assembly, the legislature cannot interpret the laws. It is only the judiciary that can do so. And neither of those can execute the laws. It is only the executive that executes. That's separation of power. But in terms of saying a ruling party, that includes every APC member in position of power, whether in the legislature or in the executive. They are all working to fulfill the spirit and the letter of the manifesto that we put forward, upon which Nigerians voted for us. So when they get there, what you saw in the last 4 years, and I need to say this clearly, because if a party that has at least 19 years of experience as PDP is exhibiting so much ignorance about the basic principles of democracy, about the basic principles of separation of power, about the basic principles of party politics and presidential system of government, then you cannot take it for granted that everybody understands what this is all about. So it behoves on us to come out clearly to say that all the APC members in the National Assembly, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the executive are one, striving to ensure we fulfill the promises we have made to Nigerians. Whatever has happened in the last 4 years, I repeat, where you see APC members holding the budget of their own government up for 7 months, was not just a betrayal of the party that presented them for election upon which they got elected, it was also a betrayal of the trust of the people of this country. And we also don't need to go further, because Nigerians have passed a verdict on them. Okay. Okay. Okay, I would also say for now, somebody asked if we have a specific person. I'm sure the news has been out that we had an interaction with the senators-elect, with the president, governors, and leaders of the party, and NWC members, where it was presented to the stakeholders that the ruling party has decided on who would be the next Senate president, according to what the democratic principles allow. And that person's name has been announced, and that is Senator Ahmed Lawan. And since that has come out, this party has not come out to contradict itself. So that has been dealt with. It's left for the party to cross the T's and dot the I's to get that sorted out. Let me take that further. That my emphasis on the fact that we are not going to share power with the people that Nigerians have rejected include the fact that what the PDP people call juicy committees, that we in APC call strategic committees, is exclusive for APC. We don't need them to head any committee where they're going to compromise on the promises we have made to Nigerians. Nigerians cannot give us a mandate, and then we go and take part of it and hand it over to somebody they have rejected. We cannot betray the people of this country, and we will not do it. Okay. So the zoning arrangement for all the other positions is in the works. And just as the media and Nigerians have been informed as per who our preferred candidate for the Senate presidency is, we will come out to tell you what the zoning formula is for both the remaining positions in the Senate and also in the House of Representatives, very shortly. And then the rivers. Somebody asked a question concerning rivers. That whether what is going on about Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi amounts to anti-party activities. No. And I know what you have in mind. If you liken that to Ogun State or Imo State, then you will be wrong. In Rivers State, we don't have any candidate. And as a party, the people of Rivers are very important to us. They have been in the hands of pillagers for too long. So, if we have the opportunity of working with a party that is willing to abide by our principles, then it is within our right to work with such a party to ensure we free the people of Rivers State from the locust. So in this case, he has not abandoned a particular candidate that belongs to APC for another candidate of another party. So these are different issues. So in that case, no anti-party activity. Whatever has happened in Rivers State, whatever Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi has done is completely normal and acceptable to this party. As a party, it is legal for us to present candidates for elections, whether at the local government level, whether at the state level, whether at the federal level, whether as executive or as a legislature. And to take it further, it's also within the right of this party to decide on which of its members will be supported for an election to go and represent the party in any other place, including the National Assembly. So presenting a member of your party for election at any level can never be illegal. In fact, nothing can be more legal than doing that. And I have also given you example in other climes, advanced democracies. And these are the people who easily cite examples from those democracies when it, is in their favor. But when it does not work for them, they forget, and they're the one who travels all the time to these countries. I've told you that in America, when the Democrats were in the majority in the House, Pelosi was the Speaker of the House. Immediately the Republican became the majority, following the election that brought in Donald Trump. Pelosi became the minority leader. It was automatic. And Pelosi would not have been Speaker if the Democrats, that is the party, had not endorsed her. And you didn't hear anybody coming forward to contest against her because of party discipline. It doesn't mean that there are not people there who also wish to be speakers. But they believe that whatever you need to do to get that position, you ought to have done within the structure of your party. Once you have not succeeded in achieving that within the structure, and the party has taken a position, as a good party man, you align by it. That is the example to follow. That is the example to copy. And that is what APC is living up to. Regarding the issue of zoning and at what point did we decide on Lawan and all this, you know that when a party zones presidency to a particular side of the country, it doesn't follow that with the zoning for all other positions. It is only after you have known where your president is coming from that you begin to now zone the remaining positions. So in this case, until we were able to resolve where the Senate President will come from, before we now begin the process of now zoning the remaining positions to other zones. So it's the same principle. Nothing is strange in that. And what we saw in Senator Lawan that we didn't see in others. I have said it here that we have very formidable and versatile members in the Senate and the House of Reps. People with huge pedigree, with huge experience, who are fit and proper to be Senate President. But unfortunately, there is only one vacancy. You cannot have two Senate Presidents. So there is nothing Senator Lawan has in the open that others don't have. But as a party, we must eventually at least zero in on one person. Whether we will be blaming, whether we have a plan for the next 4 years and we don't want to start blaming PDP again in 4 years' time. That's a very wise question. We were faced with a PDP on one leg in the last 4 years. And with that one leg, it continued to give this country so much trouble, limping all over the nation in very dangerous manner. Now, Nigerians have, on their own, cut off the remaining leg. So we have a stump of a party. So PDP is a foregone issue. And the actions that the party is taking in earnest is to also ensure that some of those pitfalls that came from that limping PDP, they have made the the National Assembly to be in rivalry with the executive for 4 years, to ensure it doesn't happen again. And that's why we are doing what it is done, the way it is done everywhere in proper democracy, to ensure that the party steps in, to ensure that nothing, no order whatsoever, prevent us from fulfilling our promises, that we are not going to have reasons to complain, because we are not going to complain. Because even in those 4 years, in spite of all the challenges, this party has achieved in 4 years, when there is little resources, more than any 4 years of PDP or the entire 16 years put together, when they had huge resources to spend. So we can only, in the next 4 years, take Nigeria practically to the next level, not in theory, in practice, to the next level, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of a robust economy, in terms of our productivity, in terms of diversification of the economy, in terms of stable power supply, in terms of productive and functional education system. So the stage is set for us. We have survived PDP, finally. We are welcome to New Nigeria. Where did we zone it? Olofofo, where did we zone it? Where?